Hey everyone, this is Jairo Morales from The Grind Fitness and welcome to my channel. On this channel, you're gonna learn how to take care of your body while we do this wonderful sport called Jiu-Jitsu. Everything from joint strength training classes to mobility classes, as well as yoga and many other professionals to teach you what is the best path for you and your Jiu-Jitsu journey. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. You know what to do. Share this with somebody if you think this might help the community to be able to take care of their body for their journey on Jiu-Jitsu. Oos guys, hope to see you on the mat. Oos guys, welcome to Fingers. So today we're going to work on the common issue that all of us Jiu-Jitsu players have, which is pain in the fingers, and most of us use tape. This is another way for you to counteract some of that discomfort that you feel, as well as making your hands and fingers actually stronger. So we're killing two birds with one stone here. We're not only making your hands a little bit stronger and all the muscles in your forearm, but we're also then gonna work on creating a little bit of a balance between the front part of your hand and the back part of your hand. So one of the primary reasons that we feel a lot of finger pain is, one, because we do gi, and it's from all the gripping from gi and holding on to the gi. So basically what ends up happening is that we overwork our flexors, or basically our fingers, to hold on to the gi. And so all the muscles here and all the muscles that create flexion in your hand get overworked, and they get overstrong as well. So you have very strong here, and then everything on your extensor or on the back side of your hand is not nearly as strong as everything on the front part of your hand that causes flexion. So you got to remember that each individual finger has individual joints. So all those muscles are basically putting a lot of pressure on those joints just on one side. So what we're going to work on today is basically a little bit of the extensor, and then to work on the wrist, the fingers, as well as the forearm, because your flexors are not just in your hand, they go all the way into your hand, all the way into your forearm, and really all the way to your actual elbow. So working on rotational movement of the elbow, rotational movement of the wrist, and then extension, which is this way, opposite of what we do with fingers. The combination of all three is going to create a little bit more equilibrium between the muscles of your hands from doing so much gi, and then it'll mitigate or reduce the amount of discomfort or tension that you feel from doing jiu-jitsu, basically. So I know all of us feel it. I do too sometimes. I try not to take my fingers. When I feel a little bit of pain, I work on some of the stuff that we're going to do today to help my body heal and create a little bit more balance. Now, if you hurt your finger, that's a totally different topic. So if you're using tape, I definitely recommend, if you hurt your finger and you continue doing jiu-jitsu, definitely tape your finger. It's basically supporting your finger. It's like having a crutch on if you hurt your leg and you need help walking. Same principle when it comes to the tape. It's basically a support system for your actual finger for you to continue work when you're injured. So injury is completely different. We're talking about the consistent pain that you may feel from doing so much jiu-jitsu. I know that when I do heavy jiu-jitsu sessions or do quite a bit or do 2 a days, my fingers feel almost like swollen. So it's like a pain where it's like, you're like, and you want to, and that's what we're going to try to work on today. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and sit. I like to sit Indian style just for this. You can sit on your knees, or you can sit on a yoga booster, whatever feels comfortable. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do are what are called controlled articular rotations, or the acronym CARS. Some of you may have heard it. It's just a fancy technical name for basically trying to maximize the amount of workspace within each individual joint. Workspace is how it could actually work, or the amount of movement that the joint has to its maximum capacity, okay? when we work on these controlled articular rotations, they feel good, but they're not the end all. They're not one of those things where you're not going to get gains from it. What it is information for you to understand where your body is in space. Okay? So we're going to first work on the wrist. So what I want you to do is take one hand, you're going to grab your own wrist to support it. You're going to karate chop your hand. And what I want you to do is we're going to go through 4 movements. So you're going to come all the way down to extension. Then you're going to come in, which is adduction, adduction. Then you're going to flex your hand. Then you're going to go out, which is the difficult one for me. And then you're going to come down. And then you're going to repeat. In, up, out, and down. Opposite direction now. Out, up, in, down, out, up, in, and down. Now we're going to go back the same direction, but now we're going to take away the support. This is the difficult part. We want to keep our forearm flat. So no rotation at the elbow, nothing moves. Pretend that there's like your cell phone sitting on top of your forearm and you don't want it to fall. So you're going to go down, then in, much harder when you do it without the assisted help. Up, out, and down. In, up, out, and down. Reverse. Out, up, in, and down, out, up, in, and down. Good. Other side. Okay? Just warming up the wrist here. We're warming up, and then we're going to go move on to the elbow as well. So again, key here is to try to keep your fingers from moving. Keep the karate chop hand as strong as possible. So in, up, out, down, reverse, out. Very limited movement on the out part for me. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. The key here is to keep the forearm straight, or straight as possible. Go ahead and let go of the wrist. In, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, reverse, out, up, in, down, out, up, in, and down. I think I did an extra one on that one, but that's okay. Okay? Next, we're moving on to the elbow. So just so you understand, what we're trying to do, I'm gonna see if I can give you a little bit from this direction. What we're trying to do is rotate one bone over the other. So we're trying to maximize the rotation here. So it's coming from the elbow. So the idea here is when you're karate chopping the hand, you're keeping the fingers in line with the wrist that's in line with the elbow. So that the rotation is not coming from the hand or from the fingers, it's coming from the elbow. So it's rotational, maximal rotation down, maximal rotation out. Maximal rotation down, maximal rotation out. Okay? So this one we're going to do together, both with the same arm. Rotating down, rotating up. And what I want you to do is kind of explore what's called the end ranges. What the end ranges are is basically you're reaching out to the maximal rotation and you're trying to get 1 or 2 extra degrees in there by isometrically trying to get that last little bit of lift or rotation. Keep going back and forth. We're going to do this for a little bit more. The better you get at this through practice, the more you're going to realize how the movement is coming from the elbow and not the wrist or the fingers. Just keep going back and forth. A couple more. Awesome. Okay, you're gonna need, I'm gonna use a spoon, but you can use like a stick or like an umbrella or whatever it is. So if you need to pause this, go get some item. I also have PVC pipes. The easiest thing is to use like a stick. Everyone's usually got one of these in the kitchen, so you can kind of grab one of these. The idea is it's got to be sturdy enough, because this is like made out of wood, not the plastic ones, to where it's not going to break. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work one arm at a time. So same principle of what we just finished doing. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate maximally down with the palm facing down, and you're going to feel like a little bit of like tension here. And that's what we want. This is the motion. These are the muscles that are doing maximal rotation. Okay. Then what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and grab the stick, and then we're going to try to push it down even more. Now the goal here is not to make it come from the wrist. It's not to max how far you can push this down. It's to help get a little bit more extra degrees out of that rotation downwards. Okay? Then what we're going to do is what are called pails. Pails is going to be rotating up, so you're pushing up against the top hand, and then rails is going to be trying to internally rotate even more. You're going to try to turn it down even more. That's going to be the actual workload of this part. Okay? So first things first, go ahead and rotate down, add the hand on top. Try to see if you can get 1 or 2 extra degrees out of the rotation at the elbow, and then start trying to push up. Now, when you start pushing up, start slowly. Go 10%, then 20%, then 30%, then 40%, and then hold. 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 And 10, 9. You should be feeling it right on the inside of the forearm. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails, try to rotate even more. Actively rotate that elbow down. Keep trying to do it. And I'm starting to tremble here already. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the top hand, bring it on top of the stick again, and see if you can rotate it down again. Relax the tension, keeping that wrist nice and straight, and now start pushing back up again. This time you're going to try to do max effort, so keep pushing up. This hand is matching the amount of effort that the working hand is pushing. And keep pushing. Good. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails, try to rotate that hand down. Try to bring this even more in downwards. Get all these muscles. What muscles have to work in order for you to rotate even more? Keeping that wrist as straight as possible. Keep working at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And slowly open up your hand. Oof. Okay. So now we're doing the opposite rotation. So first we were doing down, now we're doing up. Okay? So grab the hand, palm facing up. We're going to try to rotate it up. So turning this even more, 1 or 2 extra degrees, you're going to take your opposite hand and kind of assist a little bit so that you get 1 or 2 extra degrees. And then you're going to the pails is going to be pushing down. And then the rails is going to be up, trying to rotate even more up. Okay? So here we go. Start pushing down. Start slowly. And hold that effort. Keeping this wrist, the working hand's wrist strong so that the rotation comes from the elbow. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails, rotate even more up. Get this stuff to rotate even more. 5. There you go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Opposite hand matches it because you've now created new space. Adjust your hand if you need to make sure that you're holding strong and that your wrist is straight. And again, start doing the pail. Start pushing down. This time, max effort. Yep. Dig. Dig. Push. It's not easy. What muscles you have to incorporate in order for you to rotate that arm down, that forearm around itself. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, rotate up even more. Get this up, rotate more. Get that going. 5, there you go. 4, up, dig. 3, 2, and 1. Relax the tension, open up your fingers, karate chop, and now back and forth with what we warmed up with. The only difference is now you found a little bit of space, so when you get to that end range of each direction, try to hang out there, try to find 1 or 2 extra degrees. What we're teaching the nervous system is that the end range, or the maximal amount of end range, you earned 1 or 2 extra fraction of degrees. And we're teaching the nervous system that it's okay to be there. Increased information at the joint level. This will also make you stronger for armbar prevention, because we're working on the muscles around the elbow joint. Keep going back and forth. Don't stop. Couple more. All right, shake it off. Whew. Other side. So, first internal. So, again, keeping your elbow stationary. Wrist is locked. If you can see it, this goes straight. So don't do this, don't do this. This has to stay straight. So the motion is coming at the elbow and not at the wrist. Okay? So go ahead and grip on. Go down to the max capability or max rotation. And then from there, the pails just start pushing up. First set is kind of low effort. Only rev up to about 40%. This you're going to feel on the top of the forearm, a little bit on the anterior side, or excuse me, on the the medial side, which is on the inside of the forearm. You feel a little bit of bicep, but not too much. And then when you do the rails, you're going to feel it on the inside of the elbow joint, closest to your body. So the medial proximal side of the arm. Keep holding it. See, I'm a little weaker on this side. I have to like focus on disconnecting my wrist from the effort at the elbow. I'm not nearly as coordinated on my left as I am on my right. Most of us that are right-handed is like that. And keep trying to rotate out, keeping this hand with the same amount of pressure as the effort that's being put on the working hand. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rails, rotate it down. This is quite difficult for me on this side. Yeah. Relax the tension. Adjust your hand if you need to. See if you can get 1 or 2 extra degrees out of that rotation downwards. And now start pushing back up again. Start doing the pails. Just like that. Revving up. Now we're doing max effort. If you don't get to the point where you're shaking, you're lying to yourself. You're not doing max effort. Yeah, there you go. Keep digging. More. More effort out. 10, just like that. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails, rotate even more down. Get that this rotate. Trying to disconnect the wrist from the shoulder, or excuse me, from the elbow, and the shoulder from the elbow, so that all the work is coming from the 2 rotational bones of the forearm. Dig, dig, 5, dig, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension. Slowly open up your fingers. Karate chop. Same strength or coordination as my right. One side than the other for certain things, and that's okay. The better you get at this kind of stuff, the more you're going to realize how to create a custom workout for yourself so that you can do this kind of stuff specifically for what you're feeling. And that conversation allows you, it dictates what you need to work on. At the end ranges, so max out, max out. Beautiful. All right. So now we're going to get into what's called tabletop, or tabletop is what I call it. There's other names for it, but That's what I call it. So here's the key when you're sitting on tabletop, and this is actually one of the key factors you should practice when you get on the mat, is learning how to separate your fingers, or learning how to do maximal extension of the wrist. So what I tell everybody is, what we want to do is focus on the meat of the hand. So like right here at the base of the hand, this is the meatiest part of the hand. So when we're putting our hands onto the mat, what I want you to think is that you're placing the meaty part of your hands, then you're splaying your fingers as wide as you possibly can, then you're putting your fingers down, then from there you're shifting your weight over your hand. Okay? So, meat of the hands, separate the fingers, put them down, shift your weight forward. And what I want you to do is find your end range. What I mean by end range is you should be feeling like a little bit of a stretch on the inside of this forearm. If you're feeling pain here, you've gone too far. That means there's some blockage here for some reason, and you don't want to lean into the pain. It's what's called closed angular pain. You shouldn't be feeling that. You should be feeling a stretch here. If you're feeling it here, what you want to do is you want to kind of kiss that pain. So as soon as you start to feel it, you want to back up just a few degrees so that pain gets manageable, very minor. And as you keep doing this, more and more, that blockage, because you're going to increase the workspace of the wrist, should dissipate. Unless you're injured. Injury is a totally different thing. Okay? So here we go. Let's set ourselves up. Meat of the hands, separate the fingers, put the fingers down, and then let's find that end range for you, whatever that looks like. So I'm going to try to find it for me. And I got it right about there. Okay, let's sit here for a second. Now, pails. So sit here while I give you the directions, okay? So pails is going to be pressing the hand through the ground. Rails is going to be trying to do more extension, really trying to bring those fingers up off the mat in order for you to try to bend your fingers backwards. You're not going to be able to do it, but it's not about whether you do it or not, it's about the intention. Okay, stay here for a little bit more. Adjust yourself accordingly. See, I'm having a little bit of discomfort here on my left wrist. Not sure why. I haven't been injured. I'm not sure why I'm having some limitation on my left wrist. I may have done something, overworked something, something's a little off there. Which means now I personally need to work on my left wrist over the next week or so to dissipate that, because I shouldn't be feeling that pain. Okay, here we go. Start pressing those fingers. Start with the digits, then move to the meat of the hand, then think the forearm, this part here is pushing down. And press. 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 And hold that tension. Oof. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now reverse. Try to lift those fingers up. Try to get the front part of your forearm to activate and get those fingers up. Pull those fingers up. 5, 4, bend those fingers backwards up towards your forearm. 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension. See if you can go forward a little bit more. I found a little bit of space. I can go forward a little bit more. Get a larger stretch on the inside of the forearm here. And now let's go with the pail. Start pushing down. Start with the digits, then the meat of the hand, then the forearm, and press. This time we're doing max effort. Everything you got. Slowly start increasing the amount of effort. Go to 40%. 50%. And keep pushing. Push. Keep revving up. Harder. Good. Harder. 10. 9. Keep pressing those fingers through the ground. Keep think that you have like you're digging your fingers through the ground as if you're picking up sand. 10. Excuse me. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Rails. Opposite direction. Lift those fingers up. Get all this forearm here to fire. Get it up. Get it up. Pull. Dig. Dig. More. Get those fingers up. Get that thumb up. Try to get those pinkies up. Get that middle finger up. Make the top of your hand cramp because you're activating those muscles so hard. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax the tension. Sit here for just a second while I give you the directions of the next thing. We're gonna do what are called lift off, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate the top hand, trying to lift those fingers up, and then we're gonna lean our way back. So activate those fingers, and then bring those fingers with us. Go forward, activate those fingers, bring them back. Okay, here we go. Activate those fingers, lean the way back, go forward. Activate those fingers, sit back, go forward. Again, activate those fingers, go back. Couple more. Activate those fingers, get those fingers up, come back. Last one, activate those fingers, and come back. And now we're doing slow irradiating cars. Taking your time here. Your wrist should feel like almost like inflamed. Bunch of blood rolling into your wrist, which is what we want. Sorry, trying to find an adjusting here with this, with the way I'm sitting. My apologies. And opposite direction. Oof, my wrists are done. They're completely gassed. Awesome. Let's start with that. Those few exercises, you do that. If you're having a lot of finger pain, I would recommend doing it like 2 to 4 times a week until the pain starts to diminish. And then focus on bending and getting this stuff active. So what I would recommend is just to do passive stretching before you roll. So before you roll, sit in this position, splay those fingers, get this stuff firing. You don't actually want to do workload, but we want to practice stretching this part. And the more you do it, the more you're going to realize that you're going to need less and less tape, and you're going to realize your fingers are feeling much, much, much better. Now, the jiu-jitsu fingers, it's normal. The reason why you get fat knuckles is because your muscles are getting stronger, so literally your bone structure is getting bigger to support the strength of your fingers. It's normal. So for the ladies out there that look at the fingers and are a little bit self-conscious of the fingers, it's the part of doing this beautiful sport of jiu-jitsu, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. Us, please give me some feedback. Let me know how it goes for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout. If you haven't already, share this with your jiu-jitsu partners, with anybody that does jiu-jitsu or any of the forums you want to do. I would greatly appreciate it. I hope this helped. Us, guys.